real train. You can't go on, Tom. You have to be an engineer to be able to go on, Tom. Okay, but we can look at Tom.
Flying! 1, 2, 3, flying! Whee! Whee!
So grab a seat now. Enjoy your house. Get down here.
Rolling. All right. Scene 8A. Scene 8A. Take 1.
Action!
Hi, my name is Damien, the director of this documentary. I wanted to sit down with my parents and ask them what it was like to raise me. Here is what they told me. Okay, shall we get this started?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. When you were conceived, we were thanking God we got pregnant. You having autism,
Yeah.
or if you had Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, whatever it was, we were just thankful that we had you. Whatever challenges were coming our way, Dad and I team up, divide it, and conquer. That's how we've done everything since we got married. When you were born, I had a book called What to Expect. And we tell you, between this 3 months and 6 months, the baby's going to do this. And we get to 6 months and a week, and then you would do it. So there was always people in my ear saying, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. Well, when you started talking and you were doing things like you'd say a word, then you go bada bada bada, beyond when you're supposed to have like a 3-word sentence, I'm like, no, something's wrong. And that's when I went to the county. They would put you on medication to help us get to your brain. And the first medication they put you on, it wasn't Adderall, but it was another medication like Adderall. And it would stop working at 5 o'clock and you would melt down. And the only thing that calmed you down and helped you come off of the medication was sitting in my lap and rocking. And sometimes it took 5 minutes and sometimes it took a half hour. Working with the behavioral so that you wouldn't unknowingly hurt your sister.
Or himself.
Yeah, or himself. My biggest fear from preschool into kindergarten, 1st grade, was that you were going to do something that would cause the state to come in the house and take you away. I was scared of that. When you were 3, or just before your 3rd birthday, you wanted to follow Daddy down into the basement in the house on Long Island. And the stairs were rickety. When you were first diagnosed, you dragged your left foot. And so those 2 things caused you to tumble down the stairs and break your arm. And when we realized that's what happened, called an ambulance. And of course the police came. And so I'm explaining to the officer what happened so she doesn't think and I'm thinking, oh my God, my nightmare is coming true.
Seeing how you look at things, sending unique man.
Dumping a huge bin of train track on the floor and it being a mess. I walk out of the room, I walk in, and this elaborate train track is on the floor. And I'm like, okay, I'm taking a picture of that.
And thankfully I like trains, so it was convenient that we would have something in common.
Yes.
Watching you discover a new thing you could do. The trip to Disney where you learned to use your imagination. We bought you the Mickey gloves and the hat, and you went around and used the magic of Disney or of the gloves to open the door. And, the cast members at Disney were like, thank you very much. And it just opened up your imagination. And granted, you were in like 1st grade when this happened. And that, to me, was a positive because it allows you to see at an older age or a different age, a different view of that skill. Whereas a typical child just learns it as they go as a toddler and a preschool child. I love the picture of when you were 2, you and Dad on the roller coaster at Sesame Place. You weren't supposed to be on the roller coaster because you weren't 4, but you were big enough. But
And you love the speed of it. It suited your brain in a lot of ways. Honestly, I think the trips to Disney and convincing the two of you guys until we were in Orlando Airport that we weren't going to a cheese factory and going to Disney was pretty amazing that we pulled it off that far. Not that it had to be Disney. It was as easily as going to the amusement park by your grandparents and doing stuff and enjoying and seeing the development that you had done, especially motor function and things of that nature, and the time you spend with your grandparents and family, I think would be the point.
They said in your IEP meetings on Long Island, there was some talk of you may not be able to do college.
Well, look at me now.
Yes, well, exactly. But then they didn't have the community college transfer to four-year university because Obama hadn't done whatever he did to do that. But they had written you off when they changed your IEP designation from autistic to other health impaired because they didn't want to spend the money on you that was in their autism budget. So we were all like, he's going to do what he's going to do.
Yeah.
When we moved down here, you were looking at information technology or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you went to film. And I'm like, well, that's different.
Yeah.
I guess you won't be operating a R2-D2 robot in space, shooting down space junk. Okay. There were people in our circle who kept saying, I see Damien doing great things. Whatever he does is going to be great. And we took that good vibes in as like you would take food in. It helped boost us up because we always saw our kids being able to, within the best of their ability, function in society.
Yeah.
Like I said, we loved you from the minute you were conceived. Did we like everything you did? No. Do we like you as a person? Yes. And like I told you in King's Dominion when you said you hated your autistic brain, that's part of you. It's part of what makes you who you are. So why am I going to change that? Why would I not like that?
Subscribe to DK Film Studios for more short films.